I want to address your little African friend that was on earlier.
African friend.
Yeah, the little dude with the accent or whatever he had, but he was talking about he want Medicare.
You mean my Panamanian? You mean my Panamanian brother?
Yeah, he want Medicare for all. Why don't he check out Venezuela or Cuba? Why don't you go look at the examples of how they living and look how we live?
Can I ask you a question, sir?
Yeah.
I'm from Panama. I'm from that part of the world.
Yeah.
Okay. Where are you getting your information for as far as how they live and how things are down there as far as their healthcare system?
You were dogging out the capitalist society and look at Venezuela. Look at them. Look how they live.
No, he asked you a question.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, I'm just curious of where you're getting your information because the person who spoke to me, I said, I want to have a conversation with them because we can go ahead and have a solid conversation as far as what is working and what isn't. You know, when I hear somebody tells me about capitalism, look at Venezuela or look at Cuba or look at the others, I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't know who's talking about that. The thing about it is this. The people that have our minds in control here in the United States, they like to use those two countries as examples. Now, let me tell you something about Venezuela. Ask yourself the question, why would a country sitting on the largest pool of oil have all the people poor as our American and European and Chinese companies extract all of that oil to no benefit to the people on the ground? What I try to tell folks like you and others, my friend, I don't get into arguments or discussions. I just get into speaking the way things are. I'm from that part of the world. Africa, I think, I don't mind you calling me an African or anything like that because that is probably my ancestry. But let me tell you something. There is absolutely no doubt, zero doubt, that what is occurring in this country today against every 80% of Americans today is wrong. 80% of Americans do not have $400 while Bezos using the capitalist system that you are revering to accumulate $160 billion of doing no work. Let's continue. Bill Gates has over $100 billion for creating Microsoft Windows. Guess what? I made quite a bit of money. I'm not some floozy socialist walking out there. I made quite a bit of money in this capitalist system and gave up quite a hell of a lot to say, you know what, given that I had pricing power, I realized that only the people with pricing power are the ones who have the power in this country. And if you don't have pricing power, everybody else are slaves. So I became, wait, hold on, sir.
Money is power to you. So you want us to chase the money.
No, that's not what I said at all. No, sir.
Sir.
You need to listen to what I'm saying and not be pre-programmed by what these people tell you here. We are on the same team. Remember that. We are on the same team.
I don't chase behind money.
Say that again.
I don't love money like you do.
I do. Why would you say? Why would you say I love money?
He didn't even say that. What are you talking about?
Why would you say I love money?
He just talked about money.
No. What I said is I gave that up because I realized what it was all about. No, sir, absolutely not. What I would like you to do, or however, my friend, is to forget everything you thought you heard about Venezuela because it's wrong. I want you to forget everything you think you heard about Cuba because it is wrong.
North Korea.
I want North Korea. That's a different story altogether, and that is where we cannot. We have allowed people like 45 and others to conflate these different countries that have completely different histories from ours, and completely different histories from each other. Anybody tries to conflate what occurred in North Korea to what occurred in Iran to what occurred in Venezuela are wrong. Say that again?
Iran too. I forgot about that.
Yeah, but what was important, my friend, is the following. What is important? Each of these have different histories. So let me give a quick thing about, let's say North Korea. North Korea is in the situation that it is in from the Korean War and the separation between the not wanting a capitalist state, and the reason why you notice they decided to have a bomb and nobody messes with them in having the bomb. But anyhow, so.
But what about Donald Trump lowering the unemployment rate at the lowest for black people?
It's false.
In the last 50 years.
It's false.
It's false.
About that.
Well, there's a couple of things with that, my brother. First of all, he didn't lower anything. That's it. See, he can't take credit for numbers that he thought were false when he wasn't president. Now he becomes president, he thinks they're real. First of all, the largest gain as far as for the president under any presidency was under President Obama. as far as blacks and
But
as far
what
as
did Obama do
Latinos.
for so-called black people?
No.
Let's
But let me finish, brother. I'm just answering your question. You asked the question about Trump, and we're just explaining that. First of all, that's the second. And the second thing is what my man just said, and that is that there are so many people underemployed right now that are not making enough money. Yes, the number is low, but the number of people who are not making enough to make ends meet is higher. And I apologize, we couldn't get into it a little bit deeper. We do have other callers.
Can I ask you to give me permission to do one thing?
Sure,
This is no. Hold on, sir. I want to say, brother, let me just say something real quick.
Medicare for all. It's crazy.
Medicare for all, my brother. So let me explain something to you when he says Medicare for all. When it comes down to is this. We are the only industrialized country in the world that do not take care of its people when it comes to health care. And you don't have to go to Venezuela or Cuba.
To the gym and working out. What's wrong with that?
No, it's nothing wrong with it. It's just that in this country, let me explain, brother.
With your own money, like I do, I go to the gym, work out, I try to eat right. Why do I got to depend on the system?
Break a leg and see how much of it you can pay for.
I was going to say, just drive home and get into a car wreck. Just anything can happen.
Why should I depend on the system to take care of my body?
Because
does that make any sense?
Nobody's asking you to do that. What I'm saying is, if you were to get into an accident tomorrow, which you could, and you had to go to a doctor, you couldn't afford to take care of yourself. I mean, we are a society for a reason. You could not break a leg and take care of yourself. So this thing that people believe they can be independent of government is ridiculous.
So you think Cuba is a good example of a government?
No, sir. We're not talking about Cuba. We don't mention Cuba whenever we mention anything to deal with a civilized country. We talk about places like France, places like Canada, places like that when people get sick, they don't go bankrupt. They don't go bankrupt. They go and the government takes care of them the same way that the government takes care of your roads
and your corporations,
all the things that you don't have the money to do for yourself. So we do not live in a society that we can. I wish we could, but I don't think that brother's. Last time I checked, not picking up his own trash, not doing his own car. He's not riding around his neighborhood being the police. He's not the fireman. He's not none of those socialist things. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. That's just me. I thought we had somebody else who would come on, but
call back if we missed you. But let me tell you why I wanted to jump in there, right? Because the young man that we just spoke to, 45 is a very smart person, and he is using the numbers. He doesn't have to win a majority, and he doesn't have to win a large percentage of the black vote or the Latino vote. He just need about 15-20% of the of the black vote and so forth. And what this young man who just called us pointed to me is that he had enough information that was wired to him through the Trump sequence of social media and other things. Because when he mentioned things about the black unemployment rate, shows that Trump or 45 is getting some penetration. When he says something like, he can take care of himself by going to the gym, it says that some of that message from the conservatives who lie to the people why they shouldn't want Medicare for all is working. We, as independent media, my brother Evans, we have to counteract that, because to the young man who just called, that sounds good until he gets into an accident. It sounds good until he realizes that the black unemployment may be lower, but that you're making peanuts and you're still in debt. I mean, we have to clear that up.
Peanuts, but you actually do a comparison between white households and black households.
Right.
The numbers are absolutely ridiculous. You're talking about $7,000 for the black household and $127,000 for a white household.
It's important that, and what we see though, Brother Evans, is so many of that message, and that is why we have a lot of work to do, because some of that message is penetrating, because they've engineered the messages. They've gone to psychologists to see what buttons to push. Even Biden did it. Biden went and he paid an organization to do a test on what best to detract people from supporting Medicare for all.
Yeah, and absolutely. I forgot all about that story. You're absolutely right. I forgot about that. They actually did testing on that.
Yes.
And once again, you're talking about a situation where one of the most popular programs in any of the institutional programs is Medicaid.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That's one of the most popular.
Yes.
So all we're talking about doing is extending that to.
And the thing about, and that's what I'm saying, the messaging, we have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
And instead of talking about how bad Trump is, we have to talk about how bad the plutocracy is in convincing Americans to continuously support policies against their own interests, policies that kill them. We need to remember to tell Americans, your Texas legislature is killing 2,273 Texans.
Talk about that
every
real quick.
Okay.
Because we talk about broad. Let's bring that here home state of Texas.
Right here in Texas. Texas is paying the taxes for the Medicaid expansion to the Affordable Care Act. Every state has to pay that tax. Mm-hmm. They don't have to accept the Medicaid expansion to the Affordable Care Act. By Texas decided to be big, bad, and bold. They decided not to take the Medicaid expansion to the Affordable Care Act, which meant it left an extra 1 million Texans without health insurance. By keeping 1 million Texans without health insurance, it means we have an extra 2,273 deaths per year. That's an intentional killing, which is also known as murder. If a legislature passes laws that inflicts intentional killings, your legislature is murdering your fellow citizens, and you mean you're going to still vote for them?
And here's a question. Here's a simple question.
Yes, sir.
Who are the people that would have been covered? Who are those million people that would have been covered? Because this is the key point. Because a lot of them people, if you were to listen, they're shiftless and lazy folks. What are you talking about? Who are these people, sir, that would have been covered?
Brother Evans, these are working American. These are working Texans. These are working Texans. And you know what? Of every spectrum. So many of the people voting, these same people in effect were voting for their own murder.
You know, it's amazing because my mom actually works for this small company that is owned by Caucasians, and about 50-50,
right,
conservative and
right,
and so they have some activists in Austin that's pushing for their agenda,
right?
That they're paying to push their agenda, and they were all against Obamacare, all against it. I mean, especially conservative ones. They was, not all of them. Half. As soon as it got here to Texas,
they took it.
And Dad got sick.
Yeah.
Guess who all those conservatives were sneaking into the office and closing the door to find out how can they sign up their parents for Medicare, for the Affordable Care Act. For the Affordable Care Act.
Let me tell you,
because they sat down and did the numbers.
Exactly. Let me tell you,
they sat down and did the numbers.
A guy was in my house. I did the video just Friday. I played the video on Politics Run Right just Friday. He came in and he said, "This is a Republican man. He's in my house and he's saying, I will kiss Obama's butt right now. I just had to put a new valve in my heart." Why does it take? Don't you have empathy? Let me tell you.
That's amazing,
Brother
man.
Evans.
You gotta almost see. It's got to see. That's the problem with that I have with a lot of Republicans, because we talk about empathy.
Yeah, that's exactly.
We talk about empathy. They don't have it until it affects them. That politician in Ohio that passed that Republican that passed that gun bill.
Yes.
3 days after. You know why? His daughter was around the corner and almost was shot.
Right.
That's why he did it, because his daughter almost got shot.
The people that most speak about morality and Jesus are the ones who least can see. I can't look at somebody. I am the type of person. I can't look at somebody in need. Brother, if I know you are in need, I've got to do something. And what I don't understand is how people do not see that their fellow Texans are in need and still vote against their fellow Texans' interest.
That's right. That's right. And trust me, you are not going to have people who are going to be, because people are living for the Joneses. Mm-hmm. They're not going to tell you privately that they're struggling, that they're about to file bankruptcy because they're, my wife got cancer last year.
Right.
I mean, I always talk about the fact, I talk about the story, and we're going to talk, pull in a couple of folks that's waiting. I tell the story about my aunt, who used to work at a hospital, got cancer, and could not afford to continue under her health care and had to sell her house.
Imagine that.
Had to sell her house 6 months after
Only in America.
Finding out she worked at the hospital
Only
for
in
20-something
America.
years.
Only in America.
And they had to do a fundraiser, and the doctors who she supported had to literally put money in an account so she could pay for her, to cover the stuff that all her supposedly insurance didn't cover.
Brother, that is money going into the hands of the rich, the plutocracy, and that's what we talk about. So all those folks defending or going against what we say about, I can't believe you're speaking about our economic system like that. Remember,
that's the system we're in right
that's
now.
the system we're in, and that will affect you.